congratulations. You must be delighted with that performance on the main stage.
Yeah, it felt in a way it could have been better, strangely. But when I come off, I see Wayne, and he was like just another 105 average. Like, was it that good? I didn't really feel that. Obviously, the doubles were good, and I really rate Luke Woodhouse as a player. I think he's a really, really tough player to play. When you see the draw, you got him. You're thinking it's not the best draw in the world. That one, to be honest, he's on the up. So for myself to win quite convincingly like I did, it's a good result for myself. And I know it sounds strange, but I still felt I could have played a little bit better, and the frustrations in the game, but my finishing was undeniable.
You touched on it there. Did you watch the draw live? You won the Lights and Audio live?
Yeah, because obviously I come over at 4:30, and like I was on second, and you're playing at 8 o'clock. You have to prepare for that because 3.5 hours is probably my time I like to prepare. So I come over and obviously see the draw, and then you see Michael versus Nathan. You kind of think that's probably going to be 4, so you kind of right, no, I'm going to probably be on second, maybe first, you don't know. But struck the board and then obviously second, which is kind of what I guessed. You got to be prepared. Obviously, if I'd have been last, I'd probably go back to the chalet and had a relax for an hour. But it's always best to be prepared in that way. That if you're on second, you're there. If you're on fourth, you can just head back.
You're playing some wonderful darts at the moment, but is there an element of frustration that those performances aren't turning into results and wins, so to speak?
I mean, yes and no, of course. When you're playing so well and you're not really winning and getting the results you want, it is frustrating. But of course, you have to keep biding your time and keep going with it, because if you keep playing like that, the results will come. And inevitably, they will happen. And for myself in the Premier League, that my performances have been decent, but maybe in them clutch moments that they've not been there at the right time. Missing doubles with the new setup, they feel great scoring. Sometimes it just doesn't feel there with the doubles, but. Tonight I showed that I can do it under pressure in the doubles. So maybe I just need a little bit of good experience, a good bit of understanding that they actually do work under pressure and hitting big finishes at the right time. And like I said, my finisher was great tonight, so there's no excuse really.
Just a fantastic result. Luke, well done on that win. You touched on it there. The Premier League, it's only 5 weeks, but 6th place. At what point can it become a concern? Do you start hoping for points and get to that top 4?
Never. No, for me, I'll never hope for points. I'm just there to entertain the crowd and keep pushing myself and keep trying to put in these good performances. And if it gets to the 16th week, we're on 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th, it doesn't matter. As long as I put the effort in, I keep working on and keep trying my best. And if it's not enough, so be it. Sometimes you've seen over the years, I remember a year when Chris Daly was like unbelievable and he was like 6th or 7th in the table. Sometimes it don't happen for you, but it's up to me to put it right. I have to push and keep working hard and make them wins happen. And if they don't happen, so be it. Obviously I'm going to push my hardest to try and make that top 4. I couldn't care less whether it's 4th, 3rd, 2nd or 1st. As long as I'm in that O2, that's really what I'm pushing for. And sometimes it gets to the point where the pressure's off you a little bit. When you're in it, you're kind of pushing really hard to stay in it and push away from everyone. Now I'm chasing. I feel like it's a little bit easier for people because then there's no pressure on you. Whatever happens. I've had 2 great years and already I've made 2 finals, won it. But of course, I'm hoping that I can make the top 4. But like I always say, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
We know the sporting rivalry between you and Luke Whitler is a friendly one. In terms of ranked majors, he's missing the European Championship. You're missing this one and the European Championship. Would it be almost a nice notch on the belt if you could tick off the clean sweep before him?
Yeah, I mean it would be, of course, but it'd be a notch in my belt to do it myself. I'm not doing it to beat Luke. I'm doing it to earn it myself. And of course, if I do win this weekend, there'll always be that lingering feeling in my brain where I'm thinking, I've missed a match start to actually complete the set, which will be frustrating. But for myself, I've got maybe 10, 15 years to go and win that European Championship if I win this year. So yeah, for me, if I didn't win the UK Open European Championship ever in my life, I've still achieved so much. I've won all the majors that I've always wanted to win. But there is that lingering feeling that you want to win everything that's been produced. And if I can, I'll be really proud. But I've got plenty of opportunities over the years to try and do it.
Should be well played. Thank you.
Luke, congratulations on that win there. Luke Littler said to us yesterday that with his poor performances in the Premier League, he hasn't really been having that same kind of backroom banter, then he hasn't really brought it up onto stage. Have you been trying to adopt a similar mindset of getting rid of that kind of stuff to focus on the Premier League?
Not really, no. I don't think there's unprofound banter behind the stage that we're all absolutely going mental. I think you need Nathan Ashmore for that. He's a kiddie. I miss him so much in the back room because he's full of life and he's good fun. He's also one of the best mates on tour, so when you've not got him there, sometimes it's a harder environment for everyone to have that banter. But Luke keeps himself to himself, so he doesn't get involved in it too much anyway. So I'm always a part of it, and Frank Van Gogh always starts it. So for me, it's a good environment. You're happy, you're having fun, and when you're on the stage, it's all business like. But if he's adopted something that changed for him, that works for him, good for him. But for myself, I like to be part of it and have good fun with the other players.
Yeah, and we know you've been tinkering with yourself, like you said there. Even though the performances are there, you averaged 104, great performance today, but you're saying that the confidence in 100% in the setup. At what point does that become a problem, regardless of the results and the performance you're putting in?
Yeah, I mean, it'll never become a problem. It'll always be something that I want to keep trying and working on. My performances have been really good this year. I actually think my performances this year have probably been better than I've ever had, to be fair. But there's that lingering feeling where I just believe that they can be even better than they are, and I guess that's the person I am. I always strive for more. I always try to be better than I am. A really good performance tonight, and I still felt it could have been better. And that's not me being too arrogant; it's me believing that there's something more in me that could be even better. And I'm obviously going to keep trying and keep maybe tinkering over the years to try and get that level of performance where I'm doing it really, really frequently, where you really like playing it like it all the time. So also I'm going to keep pushing, keep working on, keep tinkering here, there, and everywhere, just to get myself to a level where I know that I'm really, really, really consistent.
Do you think that has come from comfortably now being the number 2 in the world, that you can play your best stuff once again?
Yeah, but when you're number 1, of course, you don't want to change too much, because you think everything's working. You won number 1, you're world champion, you've won this, you've won that. Don't change too much, they ain't broken. You think, but when you've lost that, you've got such a dominant force in Luke, you're kind of thinking, right, you have to try and chase it. You have to try and do something different. You have to try and better yourself to be even better. Maybe not better than him, but try and match him. And I enjoy the chase. I enjoy that fact of trying to do something different. And I've changed a few things this year, and it has been working. But I do believe that I can make it more consistent, which is obviously important for myself.
Thank you for your time. Best luck for us.
Well, congratulations. We touched on it a moment ago about the UK Open not being one you managed to tick off as of yet. Is there anything specific about the tournament that, to you, that maybe is an explanation for you not having won it so far, or is it just so happens that your performances haven't been there at the time?
Yeah, do you know what? I've actually mismatched darts in the UK Open and the European Championships, so I've had every opportunity to have been sat here, and you would never have asked me that question. I've done a lot. So for myself, it's like not something that I question. It's more something that obviously is not happening for me yet. I've actually got a decent record when I'm here in Minehead. I've obviously won 2 Players Championship finals, made 2 UK Open finals. I think one of them wasn't here. I think it was in COVID, but I've got a good record here, and it stands me in good stead to go on and win the UK Open one day. It might not be this year or the next 5 years, but I'm hoping in the next 15 years, when my career probably ends, that'll happen in one of them years. And it's cutthroat. Sometimes you get really tough draws, and tonight and over the last 5 years, I've had some really, really tough draws to win. And you get through that first one, and then you're looking forward to the next day, and then the next day, and then hopefully on the Sunday night, that's when I come alive, and that's my opportunity to win it. But we're miles away from even thinking about winning the UK.
Going back to the equipment tinkering, it's been going well so far, as you say. Is there any scope to further down the line tinker with this some more, make some more changes, or are you pretty happy with the setup you've got at the moment?
Overall, I'm happy with the setup I've got. The balance is good, and everything's fine. But it's always like tinkering to try and find that little 1-2% that can make it even better. And I'm always trying things here and there, change your flights, change your points, anything that can gently make me a little bit better. It's important that you don't change too much, because you try and improve in that 1-2%. You can also go back to 2-3-4% if you overdo it. So for myself, it's all about just tinkering here and there, finding what works. I mean, I don't change too much. You'll notice that my steps are a lot similar to it's been over the years, but I always try little things to try and improve it. And if I can, then it will stand me in such great stead that I can actually push forward and even better than I've been over the last 3 or 4 years.
If you look at the top 16 in the world, and even players outside of it like Vesselman, and look with how you played tonight, the level is going up exponentially even from this time last year. Do you reckon there's a lot more pressure on the player nowadays of playing catch up, and that worry that even stagnating isn't going to keep you at that same level?
Definitely, I totally agree. I think you've got so many players outside the top 16 now that are really, really good. And like I said earlier in the last question, it was a fact of facing Humphries is not an easy draw. I'm not saying it would have been 3 or 4 years ago, but you wouldn't have looked at it the same way as I look at it now. I really rate him. Like I said to him on the stage, I think he'll be top 16 next 2 years. I really rate him. I think he's got a great throw, really consistent. I think the finisher was what held me in my own tonight. I do believe that outside the top 16 now, it's going to chop and change a lot, because you've got so many great players, like you say, Luke, Wessel, You know, Dirk and people like that. They're all capable of being in that top 16, and you know, for me, that's important to change and get even more dominant than I am.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Luke.
Thank you.
Thanks, Luke.